is brought to you by Addis Ababa City Education Bureau in collaboration with Addis Media Network. Today's topic is the past perfect. We're going to see a tense today. But before we see and talk and discuss about this topic, I want us to go back to the previous class and discuss what we did last time. If you remember, last time we talked about different contextual vocabularies and how to use them. We have seen examples and we also have seen their definitions. And before we close the class, I gave you a few of those words to write their synonyms and antonyms. And I'm sure you have all completed this homework, and let us do it together and see how well you did. The first word that I gave you is volunteer. Volunteer. The second one is benefit. I'm sure you did all the correct forms of their synonyms and their antonyms. The third word is aforementioned. Aforementioned. The fourth word is combat. And finally, we have commitment. Commitment. So, what synonyms did you use to talk about volunteer? Volunteer has different kinds of synonyms, but the one that could come close to it, close to the meaning, is what? Contribute. Contribute. Contribute is meaning that someone has done something for the benefit of others, and that is in line with the word volunteer. What about its antonym? This is its, let's say, its synonym. What about its antonym? Its antonym is obligate. Obligate. To obligate someone to do something, meaning that person does not want to do that thing. They have to be forced to do something. They are obligated to do something. So it is the opposite of volunteering, which means freely giving your time, your energy, your money to help people. So obligate is the opposite of that. It is its antonym. What about benefit? Benefit is advantage. The synonym for benefit is advantage. It's advantage. And its antonym is disadvantage. Disadvantage. So, benefit is something that we get or something that is good for us, which is an advantage. But its antonym is disadvantage. It is not something good. It is the opposite of that. What about aforementioned? We said aforementioned is something that was mentioned before. So the above mentioned, or it could also be previously mentioned. These could be its synonym. What about its antonym? Its antonym is mentioned below. For example, mentioned below. Mentioned below, which is the opposite of above mentioned or previously mentioned. What about combat? Combat, its synonym is fight or battle. Battling the coronavirus. This could be what? Its synonym. So the antonym for combat is resolution. Resolution. It is solving something, which is the opposite of fighting. Okay, commitment, the synonym for commitment is dedication. Dedication. Being dedicated to something is being committed to something. The antonym of commitment is disloyalty. If you are not loyal to something, that means you are not committed to something, which is the antonym for commitment. So these could be some of the words. They have other synonyms and antonyms as well, but these are the close ones that are related especially to the context of what we talked about last time. And I'm sure you all did a great job. So let's go to today's class. Today's class is, the topic of today's class is past perfect tense. So what is the past perfect tense? What is the past perfect tense? What is the past perfect tense? So the past perfect tense is one of the 4 verb forms of the past tense. It is one of the 4 verb forms of the past tense. Of the past tense. This tense explains an action that started and finished before another action. Both of these actions are in the past, but one action of the past has already completed, started, and completed before another action in the past. This is usually how we use the past perfect tense. And it is, we said, the 4 forms of the past tense. How other forms are there in the past tense? If you remember earlier, we have what? The first one is the simple past. The simple past. This is the first tense, the first verb form of the past tense. The second one is the past continuous. The past continuous. This is the second verb form of the past tense. What about the third? The third is our topic for today. It is the past perfect. And finally, we have the last form is past perfect continuous. These are all of the 4 forms of the past tense. In the simple past, we have an action that is completed. We could say, for example, she ate her breakfast. She ate her breakfast. A simple past form. She ate. The past, the action had already completed, finished. And the continuous form is the example. She was going to school. So, our verb to be is in its past form, past. We're talking about the past continuous, so it is in its past form with the continuous form of the verb going to school. What about the past perfect that we're going to do today? Usually it is, we have our subject, she or he he had finished his homework. He had finished his homework. So had, we always have had when we're using the past perfect with the past participle of the verb, or the verb 3 of the root verb. The last one you can say is the mesh, or the, what do you call what we make it together between the past perfect and the continuous form of the past tense, okay? We take something from the continuous and we also take something from the past. The last one, the past perfect, is they had. We take this form from the past perfect, they had, and then we add been in the middle. They had been learning, and we take the verb form from the continuous form. We had been learning English for the past year. We had been learning English for the past year. So had, we have had, which indicates past, and we have added been, and we have taken the ing form from the continuous. So it is a mesh between the past perfect and the past continuous. That is the past perfect continuous. So these are the 4 forms of the past tense. Now today we are going to focus on the past perfect. So we have different ways of using the past perfect. The first one is an action completed before another action. This is how we usually use it, and these are both past actions. They are both completed and past actions. So, let's see an example. After she had attended college, after she had attended college, she became a police officer. After she had attended college, she became a police officer. These are both past actions. But one of the actions happened before the other action happened. So this is what happened first. She had attended university. She went to university first before she became a police officer. What other examples could we give? The students had, don't forget, this is the form of the past perfect. We always have had after our subject. And we also change the verb into its past participle form. The students had forgotten the answer until the teacher reminded them. Okay, so had, forgotten, and reminded, past events. Both are past, but one of them was completed before the other. The students had already forgotten the answer. So they had completed that idea or that action until the teacher reminded. So one action happens before the other action, and both are in the past. That is the first way of using the past perfect. What about the second way of using the past perfect? The second way of using past perfect is actions of duration. Actions of duration before something in the past. In the past. So, this one is talking about one action. In the first case, we were talking about one action finishing before another action, both in the past. But in the second case, we're talking about not finishing before or after. We will focus on that, but our main focus is the duration, the time that action happens. So, let me give you an example. They had already painted the house for the entire afternoon. For the entire afternoon when he arrived. When he arrived. So if you see this, he had arrived. Yes, something, an action that happened before or after. But what happened before? They had what? Already painted the house. But the focus here is the duration, the time it took them to complete that action. The time that it took them to complete the action is what? The entire afternoon. So it took them hours to complete that action. And that is the focus when we are talking about or when we are using the past perfect in this way. We are more focused on the duration of the time that it took them to complete this. Another example. The play had ended 2 hours when or by the time I reached the theater. So I have reached the theater. But by that time, what has happened? The play had ended. But it did not only end, it had ended for the past 2 hours. So that is the duration that it had been already finished and completed. The action had already been and completed for that long a time. So that is actions of durations of something happening before another action. This is the second way we use it. What about the third way? The third way we use it is by conditional statements. Conditional sentences with past perfect are talking about things that did not happen. They are talking about actions or situations that did not happen. And remember, if it's a conditional sentence, we often use the if clause. We often use the if clause. Let me give you an example. If I had listened, to, or if I had listened during class, comma, if I had listened during class, comma, I would have passed the exam. See? This is a situation that did not happen, but we use conditional sentence, the if clause, with the past perfect. And we talk about situations that did not happen. If I had listened during class, I would have passed the exam. Okay, what other examples can we give? If I or if she had been, if she had been here, if she had been here, she would have laughed so hard. If she had been here, she would have laughed so hard. But is she here? She is not. So the situation has not happened. That is how we use past perfect in conditional sentences to talk about situations that did not happen. We also can use past perfect in reported speech. That is the fourth way of using it. Reported speech. Okay, so how can we use it in reporting speech? Let us give an example. The student had, we already follow this rule. We have our subject, we have had in past perfect. But here, if it is reported speech, we add a reporting idea or word, right? So the student had asked. The student had asked the question again. If you see here, it is reporting. We are reporting what the student said. The student had what? Asked. And we are reporting or saying what that person has previously mentioned. Okay, what other example can we give here? He had said that it will take all day. So, again, we have our subject and had, and we have added another reporting word, said. So we are telling people what this person has talked about, has said. So that is how we use past perfect with reporting speech or in reporting speech. The last way of using the past perfect is to talk about dissatisfaction with the past. dissatisfaction with the past. This is kind of similar with conditional statements of with past perfect. Let's see an example. I wished I had never taken this item. I wish I had never taken this item. So this is what we are saying. So just like conditional statements, dissatisfaction with the past is also talking about things that did not happen, that haven't happened, but we wished it could have happened. So we are saying it hasn't happened, thus I am dissatisfied. I am not happy with how things have turned out. I wished I had never taken this item. They wished they had never joined this program. The same. Even though it did not happen, but they wish it had happened, which gives them a dissatisfaction at the moment. They are not happy with how things are and causes dissatisfaction with the past. So we could use the past perfect to talk about dissatisfaction. So these are the many ways you could use the past perfect to talk in situations or in sentences. And since we have seen these many ways and also given examples of how to use past perfect, let us do a few questions. I will write you a few questions as sentences, and I want you to put in the correct past perfect form in the correct place, and we will do it together. Put the correct form of the past perfect in the given blank spaces. Number 1. I blank stop going home. That is the first question. Number 2, she blank space. Our verb is finish her homework before dinner. So these words given in brackets are verbs. They are the root verbs, and you have to change them to their correct form when you are using them with past perfect. Remember, we change the root verb into its past participle form when we are using it with past perfect. We blank see that movie already. This is another question. Number 4, we wished we blank our pet on our vacation. On our vacation. Okay. One last question. If you blank space understand me, you would not have said those things. So these are all the questions that I want you to do in this class, and we'll do them together later on. And I will give you 2 minutes to complete this classwork. Okay, I'm sure you all did really well and you have tried your best. So let us do them together and see how well you did. The first one, I stopped going home. So we change all of these verbs into their past participle form. So I had stopped going home. What about number 2? She finished will be turned into finished. She had finished her homework before dinner. Number 3, we had seen. See will be changed into seen. We had seen that movie already. Number 4 is we wished we had brought. We had brought our pet on our vacation. Pet is an animal that we raise at our home. Okay, if you had understand will be changed to understood. If you had understood me, you would not have said those things. So, if you see, all of the verbs are changed into their past participle form, but we always have had in our past perfect sentences. These are all the examples and the definitions and the ideas that we have seen today. Remember, we use it to talk about an action completed before another action, to talk about an actions actions of durations before another action. We also use it in reported speech when we are talking about a reported action. We also use it to talk about dissatisfaction with the past, and we also use it with conditional statements. These are all the ways we could use past perfect. I'm so glad that you could join me today in this class, and I'm sure you have gotten a lot of things from this class. And I hope to see you again in another episode. Goodbye.
Babies, are you ready? Here we go in 3, 2, 1, crawl. All right. It's going to be intense. All right, parents, make sure behind the